Staggeringly vast and a land of great diversity, China is the world's third largest nation and feels more like a continent in itself than a country. This is a land with 4,000 years of fascinating social history. The people here are proud of their ancestry and of the many great sights that China has to offer the inquisitive visitor. From ancient monuments to stunning scenery and the most modern in architecture and city life, China has an utterly unique character. In this program, you'll follow my voyage across China from north to south. Beginning in the country's capital, I'll take 5 flights and a trip down the Yangtze River before my journey ends in Shanghai. Beijing today has become an elusive blend of dynamism and antiquity. The country's booming economy can certainly be seen here with the sprawl of luxury hotels and modern shopping malls. But in stark contrast, some of China's oldest and greatest political and historical monuments can be found here. It is, however, one of the world's most polluted cities. The misty skies that often shroud the capital are a testament to the country's thriving industry and the growing popularity of the motor car. But this eerie mist does lift depending on the time of year. Indeed, the temperatures in China can be extreme, ranging from 48 degrees Celsius in the summer to -40 in the winter. Well, we're shrouded in a bit of Beijing mist today, but this is Tiananmen Square, arguably one of the most important political sites in the whole of China. It was just behind me here in Tiananmen Tower on the 1st of October 1949 that Chairman Mao stood on that balcony and declared the country as the People's Republic of China. And back then, this square, of course, was packed with people, and today, people from all over China come here to pay their respects. Chairman Mao's body is in the mausoleum just opposite this square here. That's the National Museum. You've got the People's Heroes Monument, and the modern government is here in the Congress Hall. And what is amazing about this place is the scale. It's absolutely ginormous. Tiananmen Square is a cultural landmark of modern China, displaying the great strength of the Chinese government. Tourists flock here in their thousands on a daily basis. On the north side of the square, you'll find the entrance to one of the oldest and most celestial edifices, the Forbidden City. Built in the 15th century, this imperial complex was once off limits to all but the emperor and his entourage until 1949. I was accompanied by local guides throughout my entire trip, and each was as friendly and helpful as the last. Not only do you then have a translator and a tour guide, but a fascinating insight to local culture. If you want to go off the beaten track or see something unique, a guide is an essential travel accessory in China, and each seem just as proud to be showing off their country and culture.
Firstly, you have to love your country. You love all the people, love to share everything to the people. The people can feel you, from your face, from what you speak, what you talk to them. I think the heart is the most important thing.
The golden roofs and ornate decoration in the Forbidden City all stand as symbols of the old emperor's wealth and power. As you pass through gate upon gate, there are 9 in total, you enter the areas where once only the emperor, his concubines and eunuchs would have been permitted. By night, Beijing, like any capital, comes alive with excellent restaurants and live entertainment. If you do make it here, try to catch the legend of Kung Fu. It's a theatrical feat of music and daring ability, a great way to end a first day in China. Hotels throughout China are as good as you'd expect back home. Sure, you can't drink the tap water, but there's free bottled water always available, and the standard of rooms in my experience is superb. For my trip, a guide and private car met me at the hotel each morning and was willing to start the day as early or late as required. Today our trip starts at Beijing's Temple of Heaven Gardens. These are the Temple of Heaven Gardens. Now, for centuries, this place, or the temple, was used by Chinese emperors as a place of worship. But today, it's for the people of Beijing. Elderly people come here in their hundreds every day to practice arts as ancient as the temple itself. Because, of course, in China, you stop work at 60. For women, it's 55. And they don't come here for 10 minutes in the morning. They spend half a day relaxing, exercising, and chatting with their friends. The various forms of Tai Chi on display here are something to behold, and the Chinese are always willing to get onlookers involved. However embarrassed you might feel giving it a try, it's definitely an opportunity not to be missed. And for those who don't dance, there's singing, the playing of cards, or just a chat. Beyond the gardens, you'll find one of the main attractions at the Temple of Heaven, the Hall of Prayer for Good Harvest. Built in 1420 AD during the Ming Dynasty, emperors would have come here and offered sacrifice on the day of the winter solstice every year to thank heaven and hope everything would be good in the future. After a leisurely morning exploring the city, we were back on the road for a look at something rather special. A 40-minute drive from central Beijing will bring you here to the Summer Palace with its magnificent man-made lake. Now, the locals say that the scenery here changes with every season, and even on a day like this, where it is quite misty, you get these fantastic reflections. It really is a beautiful, peaceful, almost magical place. My last day in Beijing, and time to visit one of the most famous sites in the world. Well, no prizes for guessing where I am. It is, of course, the Great Wall, probably the most iconic landmark in China. Okay, it's a bit drizzly again, but you can't come this far and not give it a go, and the views are still fantastic, even though climbing it is a bit painful. The Great Wall has made its way onto most travellers' to-do lists. It's the scale of this structure and its mountain-top location that amazes the onlooker. Several emperors were involved in the building of this wall, and each and every brick it was built with is stamped with the name of its creator. If any brick failed, that brick maker would have been killed. Though parts of the wall are now fully restored and open, I was sad to see just how much of it is crumbling away. That afternoon, I was back at Beijing Airport to catch a plane heading for Xi'an, a city now world famous for its terracotta warriors. Xi'an, in the Shaanxi region, is a sprawling city full of ancient culture, tradition, and, like most of China, new development. I spent my first day wandering through the town's markets, visiting ancient city sites and enjoying the local cuisine. A short drive the next morning took me to one of the most impressive locations of my trip, Xi'an's terracotta warriors. These huge excavated pits are the result of a local farmer's discovery in the 1970s. Back then, the terracotta body parts and heads that were being churned up as the farmers ploughed their fields were seen as an omen. But then the government got involved, and now thousands of these broken warriors have been pieced back together and repositioned in the chambers they once stood in during the Qin dynasty. Now, it has to be said, Emperor Qin was pretty mean. He insisted on being buried with thousands of these terracotta warriors to protect him in the afterlife. And the sad thing is, the people who built these magnificent statues were all buried alive because the emperor didn't want people to know what he was being buried with. After a short stay in Xi'an, I was back on a plane heading for Chengdu, a city renowned for its impressive panda sanctuary. The Panda Sanctuary in Chengdu is one of China's most popular attractions. It's estimated there are only 1,500 of these marvellous creatures left on our planet. By coming here, you're of course supporting the work they do, and well, you get to see how they do it. Oh, look at this. What's great about this sanctuary is the close contact visitors can expect with giant pandas. For a donation of around 400 yuan, which is roughly £30, you can get this close to these ginormous bears, and in my opinion, it's an experience not to be missed. Later on, I was back at the airport and heading for one of the most densely populated cities in the world, Chongqing, where I was to meet a 5-star cruise ship for a trip down the Yangtze River through China's infamous Three Gorges region. Join me next week as my China adventure continues, including a relaxing voyage on the Yangtze River and a visit to the vibrant city of Shanghai.